You are welcome here. 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 Our arms are wide open. There's room for everyone. Wherever you go and wherever you're from, you are home. You are welcome here.
So it's getting a little bit chilly. I'm wondering if we could lower the fans for now. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Everything is sacred. You know, there's a difference when we walk on this planet, remembering that. There is kind of a peace and kind of a reverence to everything that we do and everything that we think and everything that we say. So I Google is my friend, and I Googled last night, how many people in the planet engage in activities on Earth Day, the celebration of Earth Days, and it came out that 1 billion people participated. I don't know how they know these things, but apparently they do. Google knows. And it was from 193 countries participated. That's pretty amazing. They're participating in rallies for environmental reform and for care for our environment and to take actions on climate change. Some people engage in activities like cleanup, the grounds and planting trees and pruning and setting up recycling programs and doing education out there to see what can we do to love on this home that is our common home. What can we do? And I'm grateful for the person who actually came up with this idea. This is the brainchild of a senator in Wisconsin whose name was Gaylord Nelson. And it began 53 years ago. Because at that time, there was a lot of pollution, air pollution, it was pollution everywhere. We have moved from an agricultural community into an industrial civilization, and of course with that there were no regulations or anything, so things were happening on our planet, and it was becoming obvious that we needed to do something. And so Gaylord gave a challenge that often is not really read or said. It's a challenge that goes beyond cleaning our environment. He said that winning the environmental war is a lot tougher than winning any other war in history. He said that our goal is not just an environment of clean air and water and scenic beauty. He said the objective of an environment of decency, equality, and respect for all human beings and for all living creatures is what we need to aim for. Have you ever heard that before? I had not. Google was my friend. And so I said, this is important for us to recognize. That is more than just caring for the environment. It's having decency and quality and mutual respect for one another and for everything that is alive. And everything, not just what's alive, what we define life. Because, see, the environmental laws that were passed are good. We have the Clean Air Act and the Endangered Species Act and the Clean Water Act, and I don't know how many acts are out there, okay? But we did, accomplish certain things, and we will accomplish even more. But I think the one thing that is missing, the one thing that we haven't come together in humanity, we haven't come together to realize that the remedy for healing the damage that we have caused is not just about passing laws of protection. It's spiritual. The remedy is spiritual. Can you say that with me? The remedy is spiritual. We need to have a shift in our consciousness, the way that we are on this planet and the way that we see each other. A new way of seeing, a new way of being. A willingness for members of this human family to embrace this, that everything is sacred. Everything is sacred. As I was preparing, this quote came to mind. I couldn't quite remember it all, so I had to look it up. It's from Lecour. He says, I asked the tree, speak to me about God, and it blossomed. Would you take a moment and listen to that? See what comes up for you. What is this saying to you? I asked the tree, speak to me about God, and it blossomed. Sit with that for a moment. To me, it says that God is the life force in all that is. That you cannot separate God from nature or nature from God. God is nature, and nature is God. For its living force, it moves through all this. Nothing exists without it. God is nature. Nature is God. So it is incredibly sacred. Everything is holy now. Remember Daniel Naboth? Everything is holy now. No, that's not Daniel Naboth, the one we just sang. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. If you walk away from this place just remembering that, then you've gotten something really profound. Each day, this place, Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, unconditionally, it models for us. It blesses us with her gifts. Trees provide oxygen to fill our lungs, and from the soil we get food to nourish our bodies. And the wind, oh, I love the wind. It plays with us sometimes, right? Sometimes it caresses us, and sometimes a little more forceful. But the wind gives our bodies a refreshment. And then there are the birds that sing. They serenade us. It's so delightful, isn't it? I don't really want to hear any outdoor music. The music of nature refreshes my soul. And moving clouds shelter us from the heat of the sun. And that's not all. Listen to this. It's said, and we know this deeply in our soul because God is nature. The beauty of nature is incomparable. It's like a feast for our senses, isn't it? You ever stood in a place where the glistening waters or majestic mountain, you can't replicate that beauty. You can't. The scripture says that the whole earth is filled with God's glory. And that is so true. So no matter what we build, no matter that we build the most grandest cathedral in the world, with gold, with whatever we want to bring into it, we will never, ever be able to replicate the majesty and the beauty of nature. It is just absolutely wondrous and marvelous, and we barely notice. Do you know how sad that is? We go around our lives doing our thing, doing, and very little pausing, very little appreciation, very, very little sending a blessing to each other, to all creatures, to everything that is. And this planet, which we are the crew, it goes through space at 66,627 miles per hour. I can barely go at 70. I get like a whole, imagine that. Yet we do not feel it. We don't feel that, right? And we don't fall off. We don't, because an invisible force that we gave it a name, because we want to name everything, and then it kind of somehow loses its sacredness. But this invisible force grounds us, keeps us together, keeps us grounded on this planet as it's traveling and whirling all over our solar system, around our solar system. And it was perfectly placed in the solar system, the right distance from the sun so that we wouldn't get scorched or freeze to death. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And life then could be sustained here. Millions of species, millions, live here. Each one marvelously, splendidly unique. You ever really looked at the little creatures that walk around our planet, or the big creatures? It's just marvelous. And each one of them are learning to coexist, because there's something innately in them. They know that they need each other, that they need each other. I don't know what happened to us. We need each other. We are one. Charles Fillmore, in his books, Christian Healing, said, and Charles Fillmore is the co-founder of our unity movement, and he said, intelligence is inherent in every form, animated or inanimated. Even rocks and all minerals have a life. It's the energy of God. Oh. And we should be speaking words of truth to everything, not only to humans, but to minerals and vegetables and the animal kingdom. Speak blessings upon them. Blessing is your desire to see the highest and the greatest good being bestowed. One of my most moving quotes came from Sister Hildegard. During the Middle Ages, she heard the voice of Spirit say this: I am that supreme and fiery force that sends forth all the spark of life. I am that living and fiery essence of the divine substance that flows in the beauty of the fields. I shine in the water. I burn in the sun and the moon and the stars. Mine is the mysterious force of the invisible wind. I sustain the breath of all that lives. I breathe in the verdure and in the flowers and in the waters. It is I that does these things, and it is you, because we are one. Wow, that was quite a quote for me, to remember how sacred it all is. Myrtle Fillmore, the mother of our unity movement, also went on to say, see, she had a way of seeing, a new way of seeing, a way of seeing beyond these eyes. Seeing from a higher place. And she said, nature is surely the glorified face of God. See the beauty about you, and you'll see the manifestation of infinite mind. I want to be and see like Myrtle saw. How about you? Yes, I want to see that. I want to know that, and not in every waking hour, not to forget that. I don't know what happened, how we have fallen asleep. Why is there such disregard to something that is so incredibly sacred? What is it that we will need to do to wake up and realize that where we stand, the very ground that you touch right now, feel that. Take a moment, close your eyes for a second. The very ground you're touching is infused with the power of God, the energy of God. You can almost feel it in your feet. You feel that? You can feel that. So, my friends, it's not just about recycling or planting trees or cleaning the environment or enacting environmental laws. They're all good. All that is good and important. It's really more important to have a renewal of consciousness. Humanity needs to wake up and not separate them. We need both. A renewal of our consciousness, a reawakening that we are one with everything. We do not weave the web of life. We're a strand in it. And whatever we do to the rest is going to affect us. The songwriter Robert Hunter said, in nature, there's no such thing as a clash of color. No. The more carefully you look, the deeper the subtleties of harmony you're going to see. It's not so much that things flow into each other or around each other like a perfect puzzle piece. Rather, it is that there's only one thing out there. It's only one thing. Only God expressing marvelously in so many diverse ways. And somehow, it's not really out there. Somehow, it is where? Within us, inside of us too. It's a great mystery. The sea and the wind and the trees and the sand, all of it is me. All of it is part of me. So when I don't regard it with respect, with sacredness, I'm only hurting myself. Thich Nhat Hanh said, you carry Mother Earth within you. She's not outside of you. Mother Earth is not your environment. In that insight of interbeing, it is possible to have a real connection with the earth, which will be our highest prayer. That will be the highest prayer, to walk in reverence, to know our oneness with all that is, and to bless it. I recently asked Joe, because he's, if you know Joe, my husband, he's always on the grounds. If I ever lose him, I know I need to come here. Where are you? Sometimes he forgets his phone and I can't get in touch with him, but he's always on the grounds. And I asked him recently, Joe, what's it like for you to work on the grounds? What's that like for you? Because you love it so much. And he told me lots of things. We shared ideas, and he shared so many stuff with me. But one thing stayed in my mind. One little thing that he said. He said, today I saw a big, fat, hairy, dead caterpillar. It must have been making its way to a place where it could have built his cocoon. I don't know why he died. When I'm in nature, I feel like I'm part of everything, and I feel everything. I can't explain it with words, he said. All I know is that it's sacred. All I know that I felt that little caterpillar. I really saw it. And there was a sacred silence between us after he shared that. Real, like there was a spiritual truth that was bubbling up and showing itself, revealing itself. Pay attention. Feel. Know. See. After that exchange, I don't know, I felt sad too. I feel sad. And I believe that that sadness that I'm feeling or have felt is this desire in all of humanity right now to grieve. I think we're wanting to grieve. And we wanted to take action. But most of all, we want to grieve. We have caused so much damage. And I'm not saying you individually, I'm talking about humans. Every week I get a newsletter from this place called the Center for Action and Contemplation, which is created by Father Richard Rohr, a Franciscan priest. And yesterday I came across a song that was sent in that newsletter. It was written by Brian McLaurin, and the title of the song is Weep for the World. I'm not going to sing it, I'm going to just read the words to you. They go like this. Let us weep for the world being broken apart by humans, foolish humans. Let us grieve for the desecration of forests and streams, of glaciers and oceans and humans like us. Let us be mindful of the children being born today in a world torn apart by humans. Let us show our children a more excellent way to walk on this earth. Let us love this world. We've been breaking it apart. Let our love bring wholeness, and let us love one another with a compassionate heart. For it is love that has made us. It is love why we have come here. Let us weep for the world that we are breaking apart, so that we can then love it back to wholeness. Let our hearts be stretched by great sorrow, but also by great love, so that we will never contract again to being less than what we truly are. How is powerful, those words. In that same newsletter, Richard Rohr said this. He says that contemplation, he says, he defines what contemplation as a meeting place where all the reality, we can only take all the reality that we can bear. And to help us meet and bear reality, this Franciscan monk says, mourn privately and lament publicly. Feel the surge of divine grief, because that's what it is. It's a divine grief. Feel the groanings of the Holy Spirit deep within you, and let those groanings of loss become the groans of labor, so that a better world can be born out of our failures, beginning with a better you, with a better understanding of who you are, a better you who is still capable of seeing and feeling and meeting all the realities that we can bear. That was Jesus' message. It was all about oneness. In one of his passages, he says, I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. What was he telling us? That we are one. What we do to one another, what we do to this planet, to all creatures, we do to ourselves. We do to ourselves. No wonder we're so unhappy most of the time, searching out there for something material to fill our space, when all we need to do is tap into the love that we are, and to spread that love with reverence to one another. All creatures, great and small, Each and every one, God made them all. I used to sing that when I was in Sunday school. So if we want to engage in spreading the love and in healing the damage that we have caused, there's some things that we need to recognize about. Recognize that it's a lot more than just about environmental laws. It's bigger, so much bigger than that. It's a spiritual awakening that we are being called to do, to wake up. It's about realizing, not just with your mind, but in your heart. Know that. The heart knows. The intellect rationalizes, but know in your heart that God is everywhere present and that God is the source of all that is. It's about realizing that all creation is holy. So we need to treat it with reverence, treat each other and all things with the sacred reverence that we know we're supposed to. It's about realizing that the call is to create an environment of decency and quality and mutual respect for all of creation. It's about remembering that you are one with everything, and whether you believe it or not, you can never be separate, ever. So open your heart to that truth. You are one with all that is. And what you think and the words you say, the actions you take towards life will affect you. So think the highest and the greatest good. Speak the words of blessings. Take the action that can heal our world. I'm going to ask you today to do something with me after the service. I'm going to ask you to meet me in the front of the church where the circle is at, and we're going to bless the earth. We're going to bless Mother Nature. And those of you that would like to join me, please feel free to do that. Until then, it's my hope that this will become a prayer for you, that you will walk touching His step and blessing with each step this earth. Think about what imprint you want to leave here. I want to leave an imprint of peace and serenity and love. That's what I want to leave. May your steps leave an imprint for our children and our children and our children to come in this place that we call home. We bless you, Mother Earth. Bless all creatures that are here. We bless them and we bless each other. May we grow in wisdom and in understanding and in love. May we use our powers, these powers of faith and strength to endure, to know what is ours to do and then to do it. And most important, to never forget that we are one. Namaste.